Hi, this is Angela from Ascended World, bringing you element 19, which is success, as part of the Worthiness course. That's part of the Adventures in Wonderland program. Success. So we had prosperity, and then we had passionate livelihood. And of course, hand in hand with that now is success. And so since we do the workbook beforehand, I did the workbook before I got on and looked at that. I think of myself as successful. I really don't. Not for living to my potential, right? Which is all the stuff we've been talking about. So obviously we're doing this worthiness course for me. But I embrace success in all areas of my life. Everything I touch becomes successful. I have the Midas touch. So, it's funny is I have the potential, like I say very easily, I have the potential, and yet I feel like I have sold myself short in many things, right? That I am I call myself moderately successful. And yeah, that's part of expectation, but also it is a part of worthiness and allowing ourselves to be more than successful. Why? Because we believe, right? Going back to what the last element was, 18, which is that passionate livelihood is, which is first of all, I can't support myself by doing what I love, right? It's only a rare person that's very lucky to be able to do that. And then we also say, oh, and then I'm only allowed to have so much money, prosperity, right? See how all these worthiness things get interconnected and interlaced. It's crazy. So, so we feel like we're in lack of that. We feel like, oh, well, how many times have people said, oh, I just don't have that lucky cloud, or I always have to work hard for things, or, that's just the way my life is, or that's my karma, or, stuff like that. And yet success really comes from worthiness of, well, first of all, what's the expectation of success, right? So first, many times we think, oh, I'm going to be successful, but then we don't really have a definition for what our expectations of that is. So then we don't even define it. Therefore, how can we be it, right? So, we can say I'm successful to have a loving family, right? Or I'm successful in having a loving group of soul tribe around me, whether they're biological family or not, doesn't matter, like that's success too. But then we consider success like, oh, well, I drive a Lamborghini and I have a house on the ocean, which nothing's wrong with that, by the way. My aspiration one day, not a Lamborghini, but maybe a high-end Tesla. But we don't define, we say, oh, I'm successful, or I strive to be successful, but then it's like, well, what is that? Like that goes back to, we have these definitions of what's enough, right? Oh, I just think successful enough is being able to pay the bills and put food on the table and to take a vacation every once in a while. And boy, that's 10, 20 steps ahead of so many others. So I can stop there. That's enough. That's a worthiness thing. A lot of the things when we say to ourselves, that's enough, is a worthiness issue. So, this is where we can allow ourselves to be successful, or, because if we believe, to go back to what we're talking about, the passionate livelihood, if we truly believe I'm not allowed to have fun and love what I do every moment of it as a living, then you will limit yourself from that success. Or it's too hard to do this for myself. It's too hard to do what I love for a living. There's too many limitations. It's too hard. It's just too hard. That's when we say that, we create it. And I can't say how many times I've said that, even to myself. And and the other part is when we stop ourselves and say, I'm successful enough. I'm prosperous enough, right? Oh, it's enough for me to just do what I love. I don't need to charge for it. I'll let the money come other ways. And then they feel like they're in lack with money. It's like, oh, no, 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 no. We can tie all of those together. We are allowed to be infinitely prosperous. We are allowed to be infinitely successful, and we are allowed to live our passion and have all that come to us easily. I always say, it'll be great the day that I allow myself to manifest, say, even like a lottery, even $1,000 a day, when I'd be happy with that. and so, but then I'm saying that's enough. But Well, that's pretty nice. That's a pretty nice thing that I would be pretty happy with, getting paid to be me, right? That goes back to the prosperity one that we did in element 17. And then, but then I'd feel, well, then I can feel free to just do my passion. And if I do, but which I do, and there's still limited success in my definition, right? So again, it's our expectations, it's our definition of what's enough. If we stop at what's enough, right? Sometimes at some level, we will say, oh, well, this is enough to pay the bills, is enough to put stuff on the table. So food on the table, I'm good. That's good. That's successful enough. Well, what's success? Is success that you're actually embodying your passion, that you're creating exactly what you are consciously choosing to create. Because, we are successful in creating exactly what we hold within us all the time, right? So we're always successful. It's just what we expect out of that success, or what success looks like. And that's an egoic expectation. So the thing is, and of course, a lot of these are, and the fine line though is to say, well, the ego comes at it from a place of lack and thinking I have to attain it. When I just create it, I create prosperity, I create success, I create health, I create joy, and I create happiness and all that kind of stuff. It's all mine to create. And I'm worthy to do that in an infinite manner, in an infinite way of exciting. I also have the power to create infinite lack, which we do. And so when we come back to success, so we are successful in all of that, and all that we have in our lives, we are successful in its creation because it is the self-responsibility to take that we create it. So now let's re-ask ourselves that question, right? I think of myself as successful. Well, when you look at it from that perspective, of course we are, right? So then if we're successful in creating the reality that we create, then how about we allow ourselves, that we're worthy to, remember how to allow ourselves to be successful in every conscious intention that we put out there to manifest. That feels really yummy. So let's do that. I don't even think I took out the creation statement, but it's right here. I have it handy somewhere, right here, I promise. I'm worthy to remember how to and allow myself to attract and embrace success in all areas of my life and being, in all ways that are beyond my wildest expectations. Oh yeah, let me back up and go on that one. I love that. I got that from somebody else's course about like that all, success in completion, manifestation of what is intended is allowed to happen beyond my wildest expectations. I love that, because it is like letting the wild horses loose and letting it go well beyond just enough. Like, I'm ready to be beyond just successful enough. I am ready to be awesome wild horse, like crazy successful, and to do so in that conscious way of my conscious manifestation, and creation, as I intend it consciously. That's what we're shifting things to here, so that we recognize that we do that. I love the beyond the wildest expectations. So I'm worthy to remember how to and allow myself to attract and embrace success in all areas of my life and being, in all ways that are beyond my wildest expectations. And I do so consciously every step of the way. That's what I want to add into that. Oh, that's wonderful. So let's close our eyes, take a deep breath, expand our hearts, step out of separation into wholeness, oneness. And we set ourselves at the vibration where we manifest, where that is our truth, and we manifest and create from there, and let all of our intentions manifest that way. All right. Oh, that was really nice because when I went out there, it was like I saw all these trees that came up, and they came up as seedlings out of the ground, and they grew up really fast and became these trees. And then they grew out all their branches, and then from the branches came these. It was like these explosions of light, and it was like those were all the things that we're allowing ourselves that would go to that beyond the wildest expectations thing. And so they just started like popping off the trees and then floating in the air, and then it just became so expansive. That was beautiful. Whew. All right. And the simple affirmation for today is, I am worthy to be successful. So go back to this, come back and do this again, sit in it, meditate with it, expand your meditation out beyond just those couple of minutes that we go out there to do that. Allow yourself to really let this settle in, because these are so important, so important. So thank you. Have a good day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.